Greetings, I'm Solidus Skully, and welcome back to Resident Evil 2. Yeah, we're finally getting to the good part of the game. Well, I mean, not to say the other part was bad, but now we're playing as my favourite character in the entire series, so, yes. And again, I probably should have said this earlier, but I kind of forgot, so fuck it. Welcome back to Skully Spookfest, a name which, throughout the Skully Spookfest, you'll probably wonder why its name keeps changing. Well, because I'm recording this out of sync, and, well, this is the last game I'm recording, so fuck it. Skully Spookfest, I finally figured out a name. Now you get to watch my journey in figuring out that name, but before we continue, it's time for a cutscene as we begin Claire Redfield's tale of danger and darkness.
In the midst of the T-virus outbreak in Raccoon City, Leon Kennedy succeeded in escaping from the city following his encounter with one of the only other survivors, a woman named Ada, a spy seeking the deadly G-virus. However, Leon was not the sole survivor of the incident. A girl named Claire Redfield was in town on business of her own. She came to uncover the mysterious circumstances of her brother's disappearance. Chris Redfield, a member of the STAR's Alpha team. Only now her mission has become quite simple. Basic survival within the nightmare that was once Raccoon City.
Finally here.
That guy's a maniac. Why'd he bite me?
Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Hello? Look, I'm sorry I bothered you, okay? Just don't come any closer. Are you listening? Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down! We can't stay out here. Head to the police station. It'll be a lot safer. There! Buckle up.
Okay. What's going on? I arrived in town, and the whole place went insane.
The radio's out.
You're a cop, right?
Yeah, first day on the job. Great, huh? Name's Leon Kennedy. Nice to meet you.
Mine's Claire. Claire Redfield. I came to find my brother, Chris.
Hey, could you open the glove box?
Sure. There's a gun inside.
Better take it with you.
No! Look out!
You okay?
Still in one piece.
That maniac's gonna ram us! Run! Claire!
Leon!
I'm okay. Head to the station. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
They were parted. Oh, God damn it, I completely fucked up. I was thinking of the A scenario story. Whatever. At the same place, the same time. You have to survive the nightmare. This nightmare. To know the true end. And yeah, that is also part of the zapping mechanic in the sense that when you complete Leon's story, that doesn't give you the full thing, it only gives you one final boss fight there, but here we're going to be getting Claire's final boss fight as well as a secret extra boss fight, so basically, yeah, two sides, two stories. And one thing that you will notice about the B scenario, as, you know, part of the zapping mechanic, is that certain things are a little bit different. For one thing, as you can see right there, the pathway to the police station is a lot, you know, shorter, because Claire was on the other side, which was closest to the police station, and Leon had to take the more extraneous route. Now, there is something also very interesting in the sense that, well, interesting and also a little bit detrimental to the zapping mechanic itself, because, and actually something I'm kind of surprised the remake didn't fix, actually, was in the sense that since Claire gets here earlier, shouldn't most of the puzzles have technically been done? I don't know. I mean, we do know for a fact that Leon and Claire do meet in the police station, so they do get there within relatively short time, so I don't know. I'll get to that as we go on, but yeah, didn't really think out this mechanic all the way through. But it is interesting nonetheless to see that it was at least attempted, based on, I think it was based on Back to the Future actually, you know, with how time travel was affecting Marty McFly in that movie. Same sort of principle, but minus the metaphysical aspects. I don't know, it's strange, and don't go outside that door again, because you will be swarmed by zombies and get that zombie jump scare loading screen that I'm pretty sure I showed off in the previous one. I'm gonna have to rewatch the Resident Evil 2 commentary actually to see what tangents I covered and which ones I didn't. Ooh, well, EG, it's fun on the bun tonight, isn't it, kiddies? So, grab a Pepsi, grab some, I don't know, popcorn, chicken, whatever's your poison, and enjoy the cutscene. That is, well, we'll reveal certain things to you.
Hey! Get over here! Hurry!
I can't set her down. I'll drop you a rope ladder. Grab onto it.
Come on! Just a little more! Get off me! Stay back! Don't come any closer! Stay back!
Something I just realized, actually, Claire was on that rooftop the entire time, and I'm not sure if she's armed or not. I can't quite remember. I should probably check my inventory screen, but, you know, she could have helped him, or the guy could have seen her and maybe ran to ask for some help. I know there was a helicopter around, but I mean, dude, you could have called out something. Oh, well, whatever. Mr. Guy who looks like a mailman is now dead, part of the dearly departed, and he shot a man in the face with a helicopter, and then things basically went foobar. So now we're basically getting a more abridged version of the gather as many items as you can and get yourself stocked up before the main adventure. And one thing I will say about the B scenario is that it's a lot more brisk in terms of pace. Like, I mean, for all the puzzling and wandering around the police station that we did in the A scenario, it's a lot more concise and, well, quicker around this point. So yeah, you don't have to worry about faffing about for too long, and, you know, events will be going on at a reasonable pace, rather than the A scenario where it was a bit of a slog at the police station, but then everything went absolutely fucking chockers by the end of the game. And I also feel that the B scenario also does have a little bit more going on in terms of the main plot. Well, I guess maybe that's more so Claire's story than it is Leon's, because Leon is mostly dealing with stuff that's outside of the main plot, whereas Claire herself deals with what's, you know, ostensibly the main heart, retrospectively, with certain characters that we're going to be meeting later on. I don't know, I don't think it's entirely fair, because you do kind of need two sides of the story to really get what's going on, and plus Ada does have a lot more ties back to Resident Evil 1, you know, considering the fact that, you know, John, who was her boyfriend, was the John who was presumably wandering around the Spencer mansion going, brains, and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, same sort of mechanics, tank controls, shooting zombies, getting the map, eating some Burger Kong, which I think is in here somewhere. I was kind of confused that with Happy Burger from Silent Hill 3, no idea why, it's all meant to be a parody of Hungry Jack's or whatever. But yeah, another interesting thing that we get for Claire is the grenade launcher and some acid rounds, which is pretty much her main weapon, whereas Leon's was, you know, the shotgun, and I kind of find the grenade launcher to be a little bit more useful, because you can have different sorts of ammunition for it. As you can see there, we have acid rounds, which is, you know, useful for dealing with plant enemies and zombies in general, particularly lickers as well, actually, from what I've found. But you can also get fire rounds, which are, you know, for those of you who are of a bit of a pyromaniacal disposition, you know, you can burn your enemies to death and feel satisfied. Because all will burn in the flames of heaven. Yes, even you, zombie. Because these bullets kill many zombie. You know what, we're just gonna back away. See you later, pal. Yes, indeedy, and it's something I should probably bring up as well, is that I am recording this after having played the remake all the way through. Which I didn't, because I started this commentary before the release of the Resident Evil 2 remake, and now I have experienced it fully. Not really going to go into my thoughts into it that much, or except for when we get to certain segments of, like, the game where I'll compare and contrast certain bits of the story, but, yeah, I'm not really going to go too much into my thoughts. I don't plan to review it for, I don't know, ages, but, yeah, decent game. Doesn't quite beat out the original, in my opinion, because the original has a few more memorable elements to it, but Resident Evil 2 Remake is still a pretty damn solid game for what it's worth, so, again, if you happen to be in your local video game store, pick it up. I recommend it. Of course, there are a few things that the remake does lack, like getting Claire's classic outfit right, which kind of bugs me. It's like a sort of like tank top singlet sort of thing, whereas here it's like an actual shirt. And it kind of nails the biker look a little bit more. Like, I mean, the cutscenes in this game also seem to imply that it's more leather than it is like denim, which the remake seems to color it. Whatever, man. It bugs me, and my inner fashionista, who was so flirtatious with fabrics and everything, is just screaming in rage. What am I doing? I don't know, but to extinguish my anger comes the valve puzzle. And yes, that is still a segment in this game. God, out of all the things to be important, the fucking valve puzzle is something that I didn't really care about. But we've extinguished the flames, and everything should be peachy. As soon as we retrieve it from the helicopter, whatever. But of course, with the B scenario comes a few new elements, and what you're going to be seeing soon is, well, a bit of a persistent problem. What do I mean? Well, take it away, 00. And yes, I do mean 00, because, well, see for yourselves, dudes and dudettes. Well now, who was that fine fellow? I'm sure that was just about nothing. Please continue on your merry way throughout the hallways and have absolutely no problem whatsoever with that fine trenchcoat-looking gentleman with a very gaunt-looking face. Yes, oof, Jesus. This is Mr. X. Now, what he's meant to be is a variant of the Tyrant, which, if you'll remember back to Resident Evil 1, was a very large, lumbering creature that could beat the shit out of you and was pretty nigh invincible unless, of course, you had the Magnum. Now, you can choose to fight Mr. X, you can take him out, but that isn't exactly a guarantee of safety because, well, as you would see in a cutscene when you defeated him, well, he would revive and, well, yeah, he will continue to chase after you. It's only, well, something I should mention, it's only really within specific segments where Mr. X will chase around. It's not like Nemesis, where he's a more persistent threat that'll chase, you know, Jill around everywhere around Raccoon City. But at the same time, though, Mr. X is still dangerous, so watch your back. And also, thankfully, this time he is without that stupid fucking hat that the remake gave him. And I have no idea why, either. Like, I mean, Raccoon City by that point was a completely zombie-infested mess, so who the hell would he be fooling anyway? Well, I mean, thankfully, one of the trophies you can get is to knock his hat off, so, yeah, thankfully, the cannon has been restored. And as you can see here, yeah, they introduced the lickers with relative succession as well. It usually is best to just run from enemies, because, you know, right now you're not exactly in the best of shape, ammunition-wise, and, gotta stock up on some ammos, you see, to make sure we got, firepowers to take care of Mr. X in case he comes a-knockin'. And as for that scream that you heard earlier, well, if my blabbing wasn't anything to go by, we'll see who that is much later. But yes, to go back into the puzzles of this game, again, you'll be finding the exact same diaries, the exact same sort of memos that were around here. The only ones that really changed are a few that relate to the specific storylines of, you know, certain characters. So, I mean, certain diaries that are related to Claire's story won't exactly be seen in Leon's, but at the same time, for a general, like, overview of certain puzzles and, you know, other things like, you know, the Secretary's diary here, you need to run under the logic that she kept 2 diaries writing down the exact same thing, which, doesn't really seem like something a normal human being would do, unless, of course, they were that paranoid. I mean, this isn't digital, so I wouldn't really be worried about things like corrupting in terms of save data. Because this was the 90s. The 90s, which apparently had a computer with a USB drive in it, according to the remake. I couldn't entirely be wrong on that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure in 1998 more people were using, like, you know, floppy disks, so... I don't know. Maybe it was a technical fuck-up on, like, the remake team's part, but... that did confuse me, and I was more so talking about that part where you get some weapons in the remake, which is kind of bizarre. But nonetheless, the music. And that's another thing the remake kind of fucked up on. The music was, like, way too ambient, man. Like, I mean, you can hear the music here, even with my waffling commentary. You can hear the beautiful ambient tones provided to us by Masami Ueda. And it is glorious! But yeah, in the remake, the music is still present, but at the same time, it's also, like... it's kind of weaved into the background, and that's also something noticeable with Mr. X, actually. Because, like, I mean, you could hear his theme song, you know, blaring with a dun, but, I mean, in the remake, it's like, sort of, like, soft, ambient dubstep sort of shit, which is nowhere near as catchy, man, and that sucks. I prefer my Mr. X theme where it's kind of blasting at you in a very cheesy, but at the same time creepy fashion, because... you know, Mr. X in the game is nothing to scoff at, so if anything, his theme song is cheesy, yet a sign that you're going to die. It's like a cheesy horror comedy movie where you're gonna laugh, but you're gonna die. It's like facing the Joker. He's like gonna laugh you up before you choke to death on your own laughter. But again, as you'll see here, we're solving the exact same puzzles, which at this stage should have already been solved by Leon, so the fact that we're having to solve them again with, you know, the computer ID thing doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm kind of left to assume the fact that they didn't think the zapping mechanic all the way through, and I thought that the remake would have fixed something like this, but it didn't. It pretty much just kept the exact same sort of mechanics as they were in the 1998 game, which is a little bit disappointing in my eyes, because you would have thought in 2019 people would have looked back at Resident Evil 2. I mean, if you were going to completely redefine the gameplay with more of a Resident Evil 4 sort of style, you know, you would have thought you would have given the zapping mechanic a little bit more of a, like a bit of a realistic retouch. I don't know. Again, it's more of a nitpick, and to be perfectly honest, I don't really mind the way the zapping mechanic was handled in, like, the original game. I can have my problems with it, sure, but, you know, it's fine for what it is, and the elements that it does come into play with are relatively limited, but at the same time, you know, something that I do find interesting and cool. In fact, I'm trying to remember if any, what sort of other games really did this, but not many come to mind right now. But I mean, I suppose I'll probably point them out if I remember them. And now we're off to do a little something that I don't think I was able to do before in Leon's scenario, which is revisiting a certain face that we didn't see in Resident Evil 1, but played a significant role in basically being our ride. This is... come on, Claire, don't make a liar out of me. Yes, this is Brad Vickers, who is now a zombie, despite the fact that you would have thought that he would have taken off with Chris, Jill, Barry, and Rebecca, presumably. But no, he's wandering around Raccoon City as a zombie. Why is this? Well, you'll have to play Resident Evil 3 to find out. And I actually do mean that, because Resident Evil 3 simultaneously takes place before and after Resident Evil 2, so right now, while Claire is shooting Brad in the face, Nemesis is running around, and Jill, I think, is actually unconscious. In fact, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Carlos is off running around the hospital at the moment, because he's looking for a vaccine that I'm trying to remember, actually. It's been a while since I played Resident Evil 3, I'm really due for another playthrough of that game. But yeah, with Brad defeated, we get his special key, which is unlocking the lockers where he can unlock some outfits, one of which is, well, two of which are for dudes, and one of which is for, ladies. So, Brad, you have something to say to the classroom? Have any, obsessions that you want to talk to us about? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, this is basically how you unlock your costumes, whereas in the previous game you unlocked them at the end of a playthrough, I think within certain time requirements if you finish the game fast enough. Yeah, instead, when you unlock the... I'm pretty sure there are certain requirements, because you can unlock this on your first playthrough. All you have to do is basically clear out to the police station without picking up any items, and if you do that successfully, you will find Brad down the key and unlock Claire and Leon's alternate outfits. I'm pretty sure Leon gets two, one of which is like a baseball jersey, like, hip-hop sort of get-up, and the other one is like a leather jacket with tight pants sort of look, which, you know, I'm sure had Leon had that outfit in the remake, would have had a very sexy bulge in the pants, which, certainly would have swept people off their feet. And, Claire in this game only gets one, which is kind of depressing. I want to play pretty dress-up games, damn it! Well, not really. But I mean, I don't know, Resident Evil 3 did kind of rectify that, especially in the Dreamcast version, actually, with a shitload of different costumes, and I believe the PC version did too, although, then again, with the PC version you could probably mod Batman into the game and it'd make just as much sense. Where am I going with this? I don't know, I'm caught up talking like a fashionista again. Because it's the dark part of my soul, which is so flamboyant and feminine. Tee-hee-hee, let us talk about the boys, and the makeup, and the pop music. Fuck me, what is wrong with me today? I'm crazy and... stuff. Whatever. But again, you're seeing my point right here, like, doing the same sort of puzzles and repetitive actions, even though Leon should have already gone through this by this stage. And, yeah, that hallway. If you remember beforehand, we approached a similar hallway and, closed the shutters. This is where things get interesting after a certain point. Because, I mean, whichever character you do the A scenario with, they do get to the police station last, but at the same time it's also implied that they do all the puzzles. But then again, seeing as we're in the B scenario now and we do all the puzzles again, yeah, it doesn't quite make a lot of sense. And something that you will also come to find is that, and I think I even suggested this back when we were doing Leon scenario, is that I think a better way of doing this would be to have like all the puzzles and think tank stuff pretty much solved, but again, the B character tends to get a lot more action, like a lot more zombies filling the hallways, but a lot less ammo and supplies to go around, so you really have to pick your routes and plan out, you know, what sort of situations you're going to use your ammo and weapons on, and which ones you're just going to peg it and tank the hits. And not to mention, with Mr. X thrown into the fray for the B scenario, that does make things a lot more tense, because you have a character that is actively hunting you down. I don't know, I mean, these are the sort of things that I really think the remake should have followed up on by, you know, not just taking Resident Evil 2 and giving it a modern touch-up, but more so just taking a look at it and saying, okay, this is what the original team did, but how much further could we take this? How much further could we expand upon the concept to the point where we make it its own original thing? Well, not necessarily its own original thing, because that would kind of border into, like, Shattered Memory-style reimagining territory, but more so, you know, how can we take these concepts to the fullest potential that the original team didn't see back in 1998? Memories. As we burn through that painting which seems to regenerate? Who knows? Maybe the woman died after we burned a hole in her heart, and we got a red gem, which is truly the power source for all human beings. In fact, if you dig deep into your own flesh, you will find a red ruby standing right there, and don't cut yourselves open, because you will not be able to pay for anything expensive after you die. Well, I mean, unless of course you're a ghost or you're trading with demons in hell, in which case, we should destroy you, because we are also doing Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil, available now in Skully's Spookfest, which you should watch. Or probably not, because I'm pretty sure I went insane during the last part of that commentary. Oh boy. Yes, Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil, that was a fun experience as I lost my mind. But whatever. We're back in Resident Evil 2 now, where things are much more sane, and we won't meet any sort of unsavory characters who are creepy and have interests in taxidermy and, you know, with people who die, and the government conspiracies with the Umbrella Corporation. So just green herbs and save rooms. Oh, the save room theme, how I have missed you, my dear old friend. That's another thing that the Resident Evil 2 remake does, like, tracks kind of fade in and out. Like, I mean, you will still have, like, the save room theme playing, but it's only at, like, very sparse intervals, and that disappoints me. And anyway, this is Claire's alternate outfit. One moment, please. Yeah, we see you perverts out there, you don't want to look at that. Because, yeah, this is Claire's alternate outfit, where we get two things of note. We also find an old gun, which is It's either a 6-shooter or a bit of a revolver sort of thing. I don't know, but this is Claire's alternate outfit, and one that I actually really like, man. Like, I mean, it's got a leather jacket, I just like the flames on the side of it, man. I mean, it's kind of similar to her Code Veronica outfit, but... Actually, I think that might be why I like it, because Code Veronica is my favourite Resident Evil game, but... I don't know, man, I really like it. The flames across the side of the arms are just cool, and... I don't know, leather, man. It's fantastic, and it really does kind of suit, like, the biker aesthetic that Claire used to have. I don't know. It's sick, and I love it, man. Rock on. But anyway, after playing Fashionista for one day, we're going to be continuing on as we break the continuity because Claire wasn't wearing this outfit in Leon's scenario, so that technically means... And yeah, considering the fact that the game does have FMV cutscenes in all its delicious 90s glory, yeah, these outfits don't show up. In fact, I'm pretty sure they don't even show up... Well, do they show up in the remake? I don't remember. I haven't... Gotta go back for a second playthrough of that, man, because it's bizarre. Yeah, it seems somebody moved these statues back into place. Man, maybe it was Mr. X. Maybe he just couldn't stand the fact that we had defiled art on such a scale that, despite all his biological programming, he just thought, you know what? I gotta rearrange these. I'm sorry, I have no choice. It's gotta be right. It's gotta be right. Actually, just something I'm realizing now, and I know we're approaching the end of the pub, but I might as well fill it up with something tangible, is that, Claire's come to Raccoon City to find her brother Chris Redfield. A guy who at this point is pretty much scarpered and headed off for Europe, as Code Veronica would have informed us, so... Again, I don't know if there was any sort of government presence looming over him, or if there was any sort of spin-off materials that kind of, like, delved into this, but, wouldn't he have told her? I don't really know. It's been a while since I played Code Veronica as well, actually, so I don't remember if that game mentions anything about that, but, seems kind of weird that he wouldn't have told his sister that he was okay and that shit was kind of foobar in Raccoon City. I don't know, I guess maybe he didn't have time, or hell, even, I don't know. It's weird, but we'll figure out those questions next time. So, I'm Solidus Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on Resident Evil 2, we will see if Chris is inside that star's office. Catch you later.